I do feel like I'm a little swivelly, but yeah.
Yep.
All right.
Yep.
So
The first misconception, pregnant workers are guaranteed paid leave from their employers.
I wasn't guaranteed that. In fact, I was only offered unpaid medical leave for 30 days.
Paid leave. The truth is the vast majority of workers don't get any paid leave at all.
So unfortunately, the United States is the only industrialized nation that does not have an obligation for employers to provide paid parental leave. And I think a lot of people are pretty surprised to find that out when they're first expecting a baby.
Pregnant workers already have full protections from workplace discrimination.
Definitely not. Nobody has full protection from workplace discrimination, but pregnant workers are particularly vulnerable.
There are ambiguities in the law about when your employer is required to accommodate pregnancy and related conditions.
Employers are only required to treat pregnant workers as well as they treat everyone else. That doesn't stop them from treating everyone poorly.
Employers have to provide temporary job accommodations for pregnant workers.
I don't think employers think they have to provide anything.
You wouldn't think we would need a federal law to tell employers they should give pregnant workers a break to use the restroom or to bring a water bottle or to take a break from lifting heavy packages. But the reality is that we do need those protections.
And they're given no option except to take unpaid leave if they do develop restrictions during their pregnancy.
No woman should have to choose between her job and a healthy pregnancy.
Women are the only ones affected by pregnancy discrimination.
Anyone who can become pregnant, women, men who are trans, non-binary people, could face discrimination in the workplace while pregnant, and discrimination against a pregnant worker affects the whole family.
Pregnancy discrimination affects all of us. Most pregnant workers are primary or sole breadwinner for their families, meaning that when they lose a paycheck, it affects everyone in their family.
No one should be forced to choose between having a healthy pregnancy and continuing to support their family.
Employers have to provide accommodations for workers who are breastfeeding.
They don't. In fact, a lot of them, if they even accommodate you at all, will give you a closet to pump in. You wouldn't want your, significant other breastfeeding in a bathroom or a supply closet, so why would you want to be pumping in one?
There was a law that was enacted as a part of the Affordable Care Act that mandated that employers provide certain accommodations to covered employees. The problem is that about 9 million women are not covered by that law.
And even after I was demoted for breastfeeding, their accommodation was, we can't guarantee you a break and you can walk off some of your baby weight.
Pregnant workers don't face any barriers returning to their same job or career after their pregnancy.
I mean, that's just laughable.
Pregnant workers face loads of barriers on going back to work. If there were complications with your pregnancy, you may not be able to perform the job in the same duty. And in that aspect, an employer doesn't have to hire you back.
It can trickle on to when you're on your maternity leave, when you come back from your maternity leave, if you're breastfeeding, if you have a spouse that works for the same place that you were discriminated against.
The Pregnancy Discrimination Act covers all forms of pregnancy discrimination in the workplace.
The Pregnancy Discrimination Act was intended to cover all forms of pregnancy discrimination in the workplace, and unfortunately the courts in interpreting what it covers and does not cover have been pretty restrictive.
I mean, the Pregnancy Discrimination Act was passed in 1978, and we still see all forms of discrimination still in the workplace. And women, I think, are like almost 50% of the workforce.
I mean, it is hard for me to understand what about this issue is so difficult for members of Congress, because every single member of Congress knows or has known someone who has been pregnant.
I gotta say, there aren't a lot of questions in there about the Pregnant Workers Fairness Act, because that's what this is all about, is passing the Pregnant Workers Fairness Act.
I hope the Pregnant Workers Fairness Act gets passed, because cases like mine shouldn't have to be a normal. Other women shouldn't have to go through what I've went through with this.